put your hand in the chip bag of Rex.
Eavesdroppin.
Hello, Michelle.
Geordie.
How's it diddling? How you diddling over there? Diddly-doo-dah-dang?
Do you know what? That sounds rude.
I know. I realised that once I said it. I'm sorry.
It sounds really, really rude. Speaking of rude, actually.
Rude.
Rude.
You're rude.
Rude. I've had a lot of time on my hands recently to watch a bit of telly.
Yes,
as you do. Yes. And it is Olympics. We are recording this ahead of time. The things that were on the telly were the Olympics. It's the sprinters.
Right.
The male sprinters in particular, with their very, very, very tighty-whities on.
I just heard a radio program on BBC Radio 6 where they were describing back in the day, in the actual Olympian day in ancient Greece, where it was all the warring factions of the Greek myriad small townships, cities, whatever, who were arguing, and they came together for that one celebration. Well, it was mostly men that performed or ran or participated because women were second-class citizens, except that they owned horses, so sometimes they were allowed to be there in a horse-owning capacity. Interesting. But the reason why women weren't really welcome to the Olympics is because the men would participate, or what would you say, participate in their races. So imagine them doing this marathon
running
or sprint,
race, yeah,
completely naked with their willies dipped in olive oil.
What?
Yeah.
Why were they in olive oil?
I think I got that fact straight. Bear with, I might have it wrong.
They wet the whistle. What were they doing?
Wet their whistle.
Wet their whistle. Well, I will say, they may as well be fucking naked and slicked up, looped up in olive oil. Ew. Because these dudes, I'm telling you, they say women get camel toe. These dudes had like testy toe. It was one on either side and you could see the split balls. And it was definitely an eyeful. And it did remind me of
a bag of gerbils.
No, I was going to say Spinal Tap, where, do you remember he goes, one of the characters, well, it's a cucumber wrapped in foil down the pants.
Yeah. And it set off all the alarms, yes, at the airport.
Alarms were ringing in my head seeing these sprinters.
I bet they were, Michelle. Hot-blooded young lady as yourself.
I know. What's with the gerbils?
I don't know. Well, that's what they say. It's like a bag of gerbils fighting, isn't it? Or a bag of, I don't know. Listen. Michelle, you're Michelle. I'm Geordie.
You are Geordie.
That's right. And we are together. We create the phenomena that is Eavesdroppin' the podcast.
And because you're listening, you're an eavesdropper. Yes, you are.
Yes, you are. Don't try and deny it. You are. And you know you are. You know you are. You said you are.
So now what am I? An eavesdropper. Eavesdropping.
What's happening?
I really don't know. I'm delirious.
Fair enough.
I'm here, I'm eavesdropping, and we love it that you listen, even to the crazy bullshit.
And we also feel a little bit sorry for you, but hey ho, you're here now. You may as well just go with it. You may as well.
Yes, because the ride is just beginning.
It's just beginning. Michelle had some TV recommendations sent in from some lovely listeners.
Oh, I love it. And look, for anyone who might be new to eavesdropping,
welcome.
Welcome, of course. Welcome. We love you. We don't know you. Welcome.
We don't know you yet until you start writing in. Yes, Elon.
Elon's a listener.
I've also got a couple more shout outs to do. I think I've got a Tom Cullinan. I've got a Joseph Carkery. I've got a shout out for who else? There was a bunch of people who secretly listen and have recently come up to me and said, oh, yes, I do love those episodes. Do give me a shout out.
Wonderful.
Forgive me if I've forgotten, because I think it all happened while I'd had a drink. And I've had another fall, Michelle. I've had another fall.
God, you sound like you're 90 years old. What the hell's happened this time? Were you in the gold stiletto? Well, stacked heels.
I changed the platform heels to a gold Birkenstock for a friend's 70th birthday. So you'd think that things might be a little calmer.
Well, it doesn't sound glamorous. I just have to say, a gold Birk doesn't sound that glam. For you, well, you are the glamour one of the duo.
I was glamorous from the ankles up, I will just point out.
Lovely.
I was wearing a very bright orange dress that I was told I looked like I thought I looked fabulous. But then I got comments like, "You've burnt my retinas," from the birthday girl. Then I had Crossrail worker.
Oh,
you know, those guys that work overnight. High-vis. It was a high-vis dress, which, when I think about it, was probably a good thing, because when I fell in the canal, it was a houseboat party.
Right.
When I fell in the canal, and I had people walking in front of me who saw this happen, and I was pointing out, I'm going, because I had to walk across a really narrow little gangplank, and one leg fell in, and I fell backwards onto the bank. These people, I didn't know them. They just looked at me and walked on. Thank you, whoever you are, bastards.
Little fucking assholes.
Luckily, my bastard. Luckily, my husband, not my bastard. That was a slip of the tongue. Luckily, my husband came to my rescue, and he grabbed me under my armpits by my Crossrail dress and pulled me out. But unfortunately, I slipped on the muddy bank yet again, and both of us went arse over tit backwards.
Oh, my God.
One leg still in the canal. My Birkenstock is floating. Apparently, both my legs went up in the air. A young man called Frank, maybe you're a listener, Frank, a very young, handsome man, welcome if you are. He saw it all happen.
And he yelled out, "Legs akimbo!"
He didn't, but he did laugh. And I think he grabbed Paddy and helped Paddy up, who then in turn helped me. It was a bit of a middle-aged chain with a young man at the end of it. And the next day, the only memory I had of it, apart from everything that happened, was a really stingy calf where I'd fallen into stinging nettles. And my husband felt the same. Both of us still had the stings to lasted into the next day.
Well, I think that was actually a win, considering this could have gone very badly for you.
Yeah, exactly. I could have been underwater, Michelle.
Well, I was at one point, because this reminds me of the time I was in Sweden. We'd taken Andreas's dad's little boat out into the archipelago. We were chuffing around. We came back.
Chuffing
around in the little boat, and we came back. Yeah. It actually was a bit of a disaster day, because I had a friend. She was on the boat with us. She was pregnant. The boat stopped. We had to call the harbour police to come and get us. We got towed.
Oh, dear.
We got stranded in the rain. She nearly had the baby. It was quite a drama.
Oh, my goodness.
We finally got back after being towed. They dropped us off. We had to pull it into harbour. I know. And I'm not a boat person, you know. And I had this...
And the one time you go out, you have this awful experience. You're never going back.
No. But I thought, look, I'm going to chip in and help. You know, I'm traumatised, but whatever.
You had a frock on.
Well, no, I had these cute little navy blue spotted
boat shorts
and white shorts with a navy blue jumper on. I looked very nice.
You had a boat outfit. What you thought was a boat outfit.
Yeah, what everyone...
Navy blue and spots. That's what I'll wear. Little epaulets somewhere. That's my boat day outfit. Did you have a jaunty cap?
Probably.
I bet you did.
So I'm there.
Or a huge hat.
Well, we were coming in to like dock the boat, and they said, "Oh, Michelle, can you just jump up and pull the rope in?" I'm like, okay. So I went to put my foot on the side where you pull the boat in.
The jetty.
The jetty wasn't solid. It was floating, and I didn't know.
A pontoon. That's a pontoon.
A pontoon.
Jetty, yes.
And I popped my foot on there and then realised...
They wibbly wobbled.
I'm stuck. The boat had already moved, and I ended up in the middle, slowly, legs akimbo, doing the splits, and they were all screaming at me, thinking I was going to be pulled apart, ripped down
torn
the seat. Torn asunder. And then I screamed, and then just had to go into the water.
Did you?
Fully clothed.
Arse cheeks first. Yeah.
Fully clothed, fully wet.
Oh.
Yeah, never again.
That's quite the image, Michelle. I'm going to feast on that for some time.
Oh, really?
Fantastic.
So Telerex.
Well, of course we had Safka write in. Oh, of course we did. She's told us about a couple of documentaries that she's enjoyed. I think it's the one about the boy bands gone wrong, like the bad managers. I can't remember what it's called.
That sounds fabulous. You must remember. You must remember.
I'll tell you. Hang on. If you just give me a moment, dear caller. She said, Dirty Pop, the boy band scam on Netflix.
I love it. I'm going to have to watch it.
She doesn't like those bands, she does hasten to add, but she enjoyed a bit like you and Celine Dion.
Well, an eavesdropper Steph who's been to every show.
Oh, she hates you now. And she also, on the flip side of that's your light entertainment, but on the dark side, she likes Chernobyl, The Lost Tapes. It's funny that she should say that about Chernobyl. She said it was quite harrowing. It's a documentary and it's about, oh God, it's awful. But Chernobyl is quite a theme for me at the moment, and I'll tell you why. I know it sounds a bit dark, doesn't it? Well, it's because of that TV show Dark that I'm watching, because it's all about a nuclear power plant in this town of Winden. And I told you it's the German show Dark that's really hard work. And you said you wouldn't watch such a thing because it's so hard work. They do look the same, and there is a reason for that. Al Taggart wrote in and explained. It's because they're all... Well, I can't say why because it will ruin it for people who might want to watch it. But it's time and space bending. It's a bit sci-fi, Michelle. But it all centres around, I'll give you a hint, the God particle and a nuclear power plant. And in the future, it tends to look a bit like Chernobyl.
Right.
You know, after the fact. The Chernobyl, the sort of sets that you would have seen in the TV miniseries, which was so utterly wonderful, but also very hard to watch. Safka says that this Lost Tapes thing is really heartbreaking, really awful. Okay. And the other nod to Chernobyl for me this week, I was watching last night The Newsreader, the Australian TV series called The Newsreader, set in the 80s.
I started to watch that.
I love it.
I watched the first episode and it just didn't reach out and grab me. So
the fashions, the stories, they do Lindy Chamberlain. They do Chernobyl. She does look a bit like, I think she's supposed to be Jana's Vent, yes.
Yes, I do. I do think so too. Wow, well maybe I should give it another go.
You should, but they've just covered Chernobyl.
Okay.
Because they do real stories. I'm not going to look at the Lost Tapes, and I've told Safka that because it's just too dark for what's going on in the country where I live and I am a citizen of currently. It's not very nice what's happening here in England at the moment. It's a bit scary.
Maybe we would leave it there so there's no anxiety around.
No more anxiety. But you know what? Alistair Taggart got back in touch to talk about Dark and said that it was a bit sad, Michelle, because he's all on his own watching the TV show all alone. He said he might have finished it had his wife sat next to him and enjoyed it with him. I think it is one for a pair.
Okay.
But not this pair, because my husband, I have to keep bloody pausing to say, right, that character just explained everything that's going on really well. Did you hear what he said? No, can we rewind it? We rewind it. I say, okay, so did you get that sentence? I have to do it sentence by sentence. Then I have to repeat it. So I know the lines now back to front.
For fuck's sake.
So I've explained it, but it is confusing, Michelle, because I told you it's time bending and different characters are... The casting is amazing, as Al said, because they have cast people almost in 3 different phases of their lives at different times.
I do like to give things a go, so maybe I'll give it a try and I'll get back to you.
It's in German.
Jawohl. Fantastic.
There's that as well. Oh, and also he said he's watching, and this is something my daughter and I started watching, Insomnia, starring Vicky McClure, who is gorgeous, and he said that in his message. And he loved the first episode. We watched the first 2 and then started to lose interest. So maybe we should go back to it. Yeah.
All right. Well, some telerecs there for anyone who's at a loose end.
Pass them around. Pass them round. Here come the telerecs. Put your hands out. Grab them.
Put your hand in the chip bag of Rex.
Telerex for sure. Telerex, one more. I'm watching telly. You're watching telly. We're watching telly on the telly.
It's the television.
You know, in the past, Michelle, we have talked about aliens and hauntings and things, but we only ever really touch the English-speaking countries such as the United States, the UK or Australia, because they're the countries that we tend to be more affiliated with because we're both Australian. I live in the UK.
Also, too, when you research these things, English language results come up. You know, it's kind of what we see. Like, I'm sure in Sweden, if you search for Skara Cannibal, there would have been loads if you typed in Swedish.
Yes.
So, you know, it's maybe a language thing also.
Possibly. That's a good point. So I looked into other countries' hauntings. And in particular, I focused this week on India. And I found a couple of bits of information about hauntings. Now, I did wonder, you know, I guess there's a lot of different religions in India, in the country of India. And I asked the Encyclopedia Britannica whether or not the Hindu religion believes in ghosts. And this is what came up. It says that Bhut, I'm going to call it Bhut, I don't know if that's how you
Why
pronounce
do you say it like that?
Because it's got to be H-U-T. I just assumed that's how you pronounce it. I'm trying to be
culturally sensitive.
Authentic. Culturally sensitive. Yeah, exactly. In Hindu mythology, Bhut is a restless ghost, and they are believed to be malicious, especially if they have died in a violent way or have been denied funeral rites, which are really important, obviously, to ghosts. They are feared by women, children, and the newly married, strangely enough, I suppose, because anything that's inauspicious around that time is bad for the marriage. So that's why they are more frightened than, say, a young man would be. But Bhuts haunt trees, deserts, abandoned houses, and the hearths and roofs of homes, crossroads. We've heard about that a lot in England, actually. And boundaries, but never rest on the ground. What does that mean? I don't know.
You know, every time you say but, I just think of a chip butty.
It's butty.
But could an Indian chip butty?
Butty. Well, if you're from the north, you could say chip butty, but they don't say chip butty in the north. They say balm.
What?
A balm is a sandwich in the north. A butty is a sandwich in the south, in Great Britain.
Okay.
Chip balm is what you would have in Manchester, for example. You wouldn't say a butty, you'd say balm.
Interesting. Didn't know that.
Anyway, I'll get back to what I was going to tell you, which is about haunted locations in India. Have you been to India?
I've never been, actually.
Oh.
As close as I've been to India is talking about the Pakistani cannibals a few weeks ago.
Oh, God, yeah, those guys.
Those guys.
Well, I didn't touch on those fellas, but I have been to India. I've been to Delhi and can't remember some other places. Forgotten because it was a long time ago.
It was.
And I went to Nepal as well. But I'm going to talk about the Bangar Fort in Rajasthan.
Oh.
And according to the Archaeological Survey of India, tourists are warned to stay away from this site after dark because it's not just cursed, Michelle, it's also haunted.
Oh my God.
And the curse upon the Bangar Fort was put upon it by a hermit named Guru Balanath, and it occurred when the king of the region chose the location for the fort to be built. So this is obviously centuries ago. And it was also the hermit's meditation spot. So the hermit only agreed to the king to build the fort because he said, as long as the fort's shadow never touches me while I'm meditating, go nuts, he said. Go for your life.
In those words.
The king agreed. Yeah. The king agreed. But then, of course, the shadow bloody did touch him because it's an enormous, great, big fucking fort. And once he started building, he didn't give a shit. The king didn't give a shit about the shadow touching the hermit.
Of course not.
So he then put a curse on the fort, which led to the entire village being destroyed.
Ooh.
And there's another story, which is about the haunting or another curse, which is a magician called Tantric, good name, Singir, fell in love with a princess called Ratnavali. And to win her over, he used magic, black magic indeed, Michelle, which I guess is against the rules because that doesn't involve her free will and all that. No, so he saw her buying perfume oils and replaced them with a love potion. But she got sus, figured it out, threw the potion onto a nearby boulder, and that boulder rolled towards the wizard and crushed him to death. But just before he died, Michelle, he was able to put a curse on the city saying that it would be destroyed soon and that no one would be able to live within its precincts. And the kingdom was then later sacked by the invading Mughal forces, killing all the inhabitants of the fort, along with that bloody Princess Ratnavati. Sorry, you thought you had one up on the magician, but you didn't. Then there is Tunnel 33 in Shimla. They say this tunnel is haunted by the engineer who built it. And when he was building it, this Colonel Barog, which I think is English, the engineer, made his calculations and ordered workers, in order to do it quicker, to dig the holes through the mountain from both sides. But of course, they missed each other, Michelle.
Oh, shit.
They failed to meet. Oh, he got
Dickheads.
in such trouble for that. The colonel was fired and fined by the government.
Right.
And the workers were furious. And the colonel became depressed and humiliated. And legend has it that he shot himself while walking his dog and was buried inside the incomplete tunnel, which was finally completed in September 1903 and named in his honour.
Oh.
But today, if you go there to Shimla, it's said to be haunted by numerous apparitions, including a woman wearing a black sari and carrying a malnourished baby.
Oh.
Not to mention Colonel Barrog's own ghost, who is said to be quite friendly and loves to chat, so it's not all bad. But my final little haunted visit around India right now, before I tell you my story, is the black sands of Dumas Beach in Gujarat. And they're known to be haunted because it used to be a Hindu burial ground. Who had buried bodies in the beach, by the way?
Gross.
Who thought that was a good idea?
Well, first of all, if it gets hot enough, that's a hungy. You know, that's like putting a pig underground and cooking it in the sand.
Disgusting.
That's not good, unless you are the Pakistani cannibal brothers.
It's a black sand beach, and it's said to be caused by the amount of ash created by burning the dead and eventually all getting mixed up with the white sand. Yuck.
Oh my God, go frolic in dead ashes. Wow.
Lays around on that. Crikey. According to locals, people often go missing from there. They say that people go for a walk along the beach and they just never come back.
Remind me of the name of this beach again. I don't want to ever go there.
Gujarat. Yeah.
Okay.
They also say that they can hear scary giggles and whispers. What's a scary giggle? And they also said that there was once a man found dead on the beach with his tongue out. It doesn't say whether it was cut out or it was just sticking out. I'm not quite sure. That was my info. But that was just a precursor, Michelle, to get you in the mood for my story this week, which is Indian ghost hunter gone wrong. Yeah?
Ghost unbuster? No.
Ghost buster.
Ghost dust buster.
Yeah, ghost buster, ghost hunter.
Ghost busted.
This story is from 2016 and I found it in India's first post newspaper, I suppose it is. And top hits that year, of course, in 2016 would have been Bollywood numbers out in India. But here in the UK, we had Cheap Thrills by Sia. I don't know how that goes. I Took a Pill in Ibiza by Mike Posner, and I don't know how that goes. And Can't Stop the Feeling by Timberlake, which is the one, Justin Timberlake, the one with the trolls.
Oh, I can't think of that.
And I can't even remember how that goes.
Me either. And it's not even that long ago.
I know.
Do you know what? I bet if we heard all of them, we would know. But right now, cannot recall.
On the morning of the 7th of July in 2016, India's best-known ghost hunter, Gaurav Tiwari, failed to come out of the bathroom in his home for over an hour. Most wives would say that's fairly normal. But his wife, having waited for some reason, she had her ear up against the door to hear a flush or a running tap, heard none. And began to bang on the door. You're not going to laugh in a minute because he died, Michelle.
Taking a shit.
Well, let's find out. His wife, Arya Kashyap, eventually peered in through the bathroom's glass window and her subsequent screams alerted neighbours who joined her in trying to heave the door open. The scene was chaos, Michelle. Once they were inside the bathroom, they found Gaurav on the floor, sweating profusely, eyes protruding and gasping for breath. They also noticed that there was a deep black mark on his neck. Weird.
Right, so he's not dead yet.
No, he's
gasping
not.
for breath.
Exactly. He's not dead yet, but he does die. That was a spoiler. Gaurav was rushed to the hospital, and an hour and a half later, Gaurav Tiwari died before the doctors could even begin to ventilate him.
Oh.
Sadly. And 2 weeks later, police investigating the case were seriously exploring the possibility of murder. Because he's a young man, Michelle. I can't tell you how old he is. Forgot to write that down. But he's a young man. So the police are investigating a murder investigation here, but certain members of Tiwari's Paranormal Society of India, which he founded, believed it was supernatural forces that caused Gaurav's death.
Lay it on me.
And no one could explain the black mark.
That's
no
what
one
I
could
mean.
explain this black mark. Yeah.
I was waiting for you to say this black mark.
The black mark is weird, right?
Yeah.
Tiwari himself was always known to describe these marks as signs of revenge from a spirit in distress. Some of his family believed him, but on the whole, they tended to take his things that he said about ghostly matters with a bit of a pinch of salt. And his wife, Arya, well, she wasn't into the ghost busting, not one bit, as a career. She kind of wished he would just man up and get himself an office job. I guess it was a bit embarrassing being the wife of a ghost hunter. Maybe he didn't bring in enough cash. But anyway, too bad, Arya. Tiwari went to work in his chosen profession. He actually made it to the top of his game as well in India through TV appearances such as MTV's Girls' Night Out, Haunted Weekends with Sunny Leone, Live India, News 24, Zee TV, and Sci-Fi's Haunting Australia.
Okay.
So some of our Australian listeners might even know who Gaurav Tiwari is.
So basically, he became a bit of an international ghost busting go-to face.
He was the go-to, of course.
Wow.
Yeah, and he started the Paranormal Society.
All right.
Tiwari was also a guest on paranormal radio shows and founded, like I said before, the Paranormal Society, but the nature of his job meant that he would often work nights. I suppose. Well, goes without saying.
Yeah,
because ghosties come out at night.
He's out there with his equipment, whatever he's got. Geiger counter.
Exactly, all of the stuff. He was quite scientific in his research of the ghosts. And let me just explain to you that the Paranormal Society of India routinely received over 250 emails and 500 calls a day reporting spirits in homes all across India. And they had a head office in Dwarka in the western fringes of Delhi, and they all had their hands full processing these requests for help. Now, going back to that black mark, Michelle, did it remind you of anything across the neck?
Black mark across the neck. I mean,
I'm going to remind you because you seem a little bit dumbfounded there. I'm going to help you out. We did a story way back, I think it was an extra droppings on cursed films. The 1976 film The Omen.
Yes.
And if you remember from our cursed films episode 2 or 3 or something, it may even have been an extra droppings, we talk about all the ghostly happenings and misfortune to befall the cast and crew of The Omen.
Yes.
And this was a primary source for Tiwari and his Black Lines theories.
Oh.
Because if you remember, in the film, there's a photographer called Keith Jennings, who was played by David Warner. He started to notice when he took photos, because he was around all the things happening around Damien in the film, who was possessed by the devil, spoiler. He would notice all these black lines appearing on photographs that he took of the other characters, like the priest, the nanny, and it usually preceded their deaths, usually by beheading or some awful cross the neck kind of thing.
Yeah, okay.
And when I go back to our previous episode, sorry for the segue, but the strange things that would happen to the cast and crew would be things like, if you remember, planes were struck by lightning twice, 2 different planes with 2 different cast and crew, one of them being the lead actor, Gregory Peck. And the creepiest story of all from our previous story was that special effects artist John Richardson, who was instrumental in the film's famous decapitation scene, was in a head-on car crash during post-production on Friday the 13th, no less.
Oh, my God.
He survived this crash, but his passenger was his assistant, Liz Moore. She was beheaded in a manner that was eerily similar to the death scene that he helped shoot. Additionally, Richardson also noticed a road sign just before the crash for a Dutch town, because they were in Holland, Netherlands, and it said Omen, O-M-M-E-N, and distance was 66.6 kilometres.
No, that just sounds like bullshit.
And then she got a head knock. Yeah, no, I don't know about that. But listen, cut that segue. We're going back to Dwarka police station. They're not buying this nonsense about black lines and supernatural spirits pissed off with Tiwari and doing him in. Instead, they're working on gathering information from friends of the family that revealed his loving and most recent wife, or is his one and only wife, but they're recently married. She suspected Tiwari of cheating on her. And it turns out the night before he died, Tiwari was conducting an investigation in Delhi's Janakpuri region, and he got home really late, about 1 o'clock in the morning, and she hates that. And this caused a huge spat. And it's reported that, like I said, he'd only been married a few months at the time. He told his wife that he had a negative energy that was trying to pull him towards itself, if that makes sense. And it was a force he couldn't stop. According to Inspector Ashok Singh, it was known, like I said, about the argument. They were aware of it. They argued for about 2 hours before he died, the day before he died.
Okay.
And when Ashok Singh, the investigator, questioned Tiwari's wife and father for more than 8 hours, neither of them could provide sufficient evidence to account for Tiwari's death.
Right.
So at that point of the investigation, the Paranormal Society of India shut their doors for good, stopped answering phone calls and emails. So shocked and saddened were they by Tiwari's death. And they'd been going for more than 10 years at this point, Michelle, helping everybody with their spookings.
Yeah.
And on the whole, most of the time they did actually agree that a lot of the problems that they were dealing with were of a psychological nature, which is, sounds like they can be quite reasonable.
Yes.
But when they did go out on sightings or hauntings or purging or whatever, they'd be required to cleanse houses or do exorcisms, and they would often use electronic voice and image recorders and magnetic plates to help get these souls out of the homes and back up into wherever they belong. But they would also hunt their way around unoccupied homes and graveyards, morgues, vacant churches, just to chance upon a ghostly happening. And actually, they went to that abandoned fort in Rajasthan that I talked about earlier.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, and I don't have the information to hand, but apparently they were instrumental in unearthing the mystery behind the abundance of spirits there.
So he's kind of half responsible for the legend.
Maybe it was already there, I'm not sure. Maybe they knew it was haunted to begin with, I'm not sure. But there's a group member of the Paranormal Society called Amit Singh, and he said the bulk of it is sheer hallucination.
Oh.
And he said that all of Tiwari's methods were rooted in science. And you can see for yourself on YouTube if you like, and I'm sure there'll be a link provided by the lovely Michelle here, Shelley Show Notes, where Tiwari does a most haunted episode. And there are videos and group cleansings of houses. They also cleansed a spirit of a baby you can find somewhere on YouTube.
Okay.
I couldn't find it. Apparently, this couple in South Delhi, they saw a baby girl fleetingly moving in and out of their living room and bedroom. And the terrified couple called Tiwari. He came and helped after a mammoth 8-hour operation. Got the baby out. Goodbye, baby.
I mean, a baby doesn't sound that scary, to be honest.
What if it's crying all the time, Michelle?
Yeah, okay. That'll be fucking annoying.
If you see a little thing crawling across your floor, I mean, it's like a big rat.
Or a cockroach. You just want to step on it. Yeah, I guess. Okay.
You can't because it's invisible. So this member Singh of the Paranormal Society, he said that Tiwari's first encounter with the paranormal was in Texas in 2003. At the time, Tiwari was training to be a commercial pilot, and he was staying in an apartment with 4 other people. And he said he saw the spirit of a girl whose head was disembodied, and he could hear whispers and experienced all sorts of poltergeist activity in the apartment. And even one of his flatmates saw an apparition of the young girl. So that kind of led him down his path of becoming a ghostbuster and completing a certified paranormal investigator course, traveling across the US to witness 80 spooky investigations. Then he came back to India, set up the Indian Paranormal Society in 2009, and he visited over 6,000 ghost-ridden areas worldwide, all the while researching and building on research on the paranormal. And he took his role very seriously, and he told his society, do not disrespect the dead.
Well, wise words. He's going to come back and fucking haunt you if you do.
This is the thing. Do you think that if he had such great respect for the dead, how had he pissed them off so badly that they came back to get their vengeance?
Well,
as his investigation team believe.
Look, do you know what? Just because he was a renowned ghost hunter doesn't mean that he was always good at his job. What if he fucked up and just disturbed the wrong ghost at the wrong time and it was like, dude, fuck you?
Yes, it could have been a demon or something. Who knows? But one of the people he worked with, top Australian ghostbuster Alan Tiller, who worked with him for the TV show Haunting Australia, he debunked the spirit murder by posting on Facebook that Tiwari had had a heart attack and that's what killed him. But Tiwari's father was leaning right into the spirit vengeance theory, telling police that his son had told him, I am feeling extremely uncomfortable for quite some time. I am being followed. I am being watched by someone who refuses to leave me. Of course, police didn't take this seriously. They felt in his line of work, thoughts of being followed by demons would just be par for the course, really, hazard of the job. But this person, Sashi Dubey,
great name,
Sashi Dubey, a practitioner of the occult in Delhi, said sometimes spirits leave a negative impact on your home if they are disturbed. And too much interaction with spirits can always have its side effects. In the US, nearly 1/3 of Americans claim to have experienced an encounter with the undead. 1/3 of Americans. That's a lot. That's like top 5% globally listened to podcasts, right?
Wow.
It's a lot. And then there's another person who's a celebrated fitness trainer from Kolkata called Sumi Mitra, who has studied life after death. And she thinks that most ghost stories turn out to be fake, but some are genuine. Thanks, Sumi. That really covers
everything.
The gamut, doesn't it? The gamut. She has, though, personal experience of it because her house, she says, was built on a graveyard. And she said there would be someone heavily breathing close to you in her house. Sometimes something would bang on the door. She'd hear sounds of people climbing the stairs. But they were mostly momentary and happening at night. So it sounds like she's pretty easy breezy about it all. Mm-hmm. But she does say entities that continuously wander in a place of their preference normally do not harm anyone. Though I have heard cases where people were forced to commit suicide because of spirits.
Oh. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
That's extreme.
It is extreme, but she does go on to say, sunlight and prayers have helped me ease them out. It's been tough, she said.
Okay. And then she's like, just call me for help. 0800.
Call me 0800, yes. But Tiwari's dad says there have been numerous spirit sightings in their home, all happening within 5 feet of his son. But no one's buying it, especially not the Dwarka police, who think that Tiwari did, in fact, take his own life.
So nothing to do with the wife thinking he was cheating.
Well,
Oh.
I don't know. Perhaps it was the pressure from his wife. The police went as far to say that it was a clear case of suicide.
Oh.
When they found him, they found evidence that he had used his wife's scarf to take his own life.
So what about this black mark?
I don't know. Maybe it was a dirty scarf, Michelle.
Yes.
It was around the neck.
Well, she had a dirty neck. Maybe she'd wiped her kohl eyeliner. Who knows? Bit strange.
It is odd. But the police said that the reason behind it is put down to Tiwari having had no major projects lined up for the future. And what projects he did have brought in little money, barely enough. And his family were disappointed, his new wife particularly so. And perhaps that was enough for poor Tiwari to feel worthless enough to end his life. So R.I.P. Tiwari. I wonder if that was the case or was it something more sinister. But either way, we'll never know now because the case is closed.
And so is your segment. Thank you very much. Interesting story. Guess what? Did you know aliens are real? The Earth is actually flat and you can have sex with a ghost.
Open your eyes, dear.
Okay, so this is a little bit of a rabbit hole once you start going down it. So I'm going to just ask you a question, Georgette.
Yeah.
Did you know about haunted eBay?
No.
Yeah, I had no idea it was a thing. I mean, you're on eBay all the time. So am I. I've never typed haunted into eBay before because why the fuck would you?
Yeah.
But I did. And I did it because I was like, who would go on eBay looking for haunted stuff?
Well, I do know that there's all those dolls and things we've spoken about before that go up on eBay to be sold, aren't there?
Well, that is the number one keyword search when you type
Haunted
something
doll.
in and it gives, yes, haunted dolls. But it's a booming business, Geordie.
What about haunted underwear pre-worn? Imagine how much money you'd get for that.
Well, it depends. Skid, no skid? Do you pay extra? For a bit of dirty business? I don't know.
Oh God, why does it have to be skiddies?
Because we were in Skidmore last week. But look, I tell you what, I mean, I can do a little search right now if you like.
Yeah, go. Haunted pre-worn underwear. Let's see what comes
You
up.
don't even have to say pre-worn because it'll be a given. Hang on. Well, it didn't come up as if anyone else had searched it.
Oh, but you're marked for life now. Your search history. Haunted underwear. Perhaps that should be some merchandise ideas for us, for our Patreons. We can send them all a pair of haunted underwear.
Haunted underwear just comes up with, Halloween prints. It's not really underwear that's haunted. Soz, but it's a great merch idea. Like you had said, haunted and doll are the first, searches that come up. I mean, and it's obvious because it's always the doll that gets haunted, right? I will say, who the fuck even wants a haunted doll?
No one.
Why would you want a haunted anything?
No, most people are trying to get rid of those things.
I know. Well, that's why they're on fucking eBay. So this eBay search, so doll was the top. It was then followed by haunted mansion. And I was like, what the fuck? Why is this not hauntedrealestate.com? But no, then I realised from another search further down the list, I think Haunted Mansion is a DVD movie.
Okay.
So that one was a bit of a dud. Then it was haunted porcelain dolls, haunted spirit dolls.
Oh.
Then there was haunted beauty Barbie.
Huh? What?
That's if you want to freak your child the fuck out, you give them a haunted Barbie. I don't know who would want a haunted Barbie. Basically, it's dolls. But then I thought, I'm going to go a little bit wider here. So I turned to Reddit, Geordie.
I love Reddit.
That's what you do.
I do that.
I know.
Yeah. Quora, Reddit, they're all the same.
Yes. And I found a post from a user called Silver Tadpole 6066. And here's what they say. I don't know if it's a guy or a girl, so it's a they. Quote, I bought a satanic ring. Now, already, Geordie, like, why would you want to buy a satanic ring? Like, even if you only have half an inkling that it could actually be possessed by Satan.
Is it just a skull ring, though? Is it just a ring with a skull on it or something?
Who fucking knows? But anyway, Silver Tadpole says, I bought a satanic ring that supposedly has a demon attached to it. They even sent me the name of the demon written down on a piece of paper. I thought it was all bullshit. I had it for 3 days. First 2 days, nothing happened. But yesterday, I was in my room and the light turned off on its own.
Or did the light bulb blow?
Well, he says, I freaked out bad. Freaked was in capitals. I freaked out bad.
Yeah.
Stood up instantly from the bed to turn on the light, but I felt the room temperature go cold.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then they say, I also had terrible nightmares, really bad ones. And then she says, I'm still wearing the ring though as I'm typing this, lol. It's so nice. And for some reason, I can't seem to take it off. It's strange. It feels like it's attached to me.
Bullshit.
And then they say, and yes, I don't care if anyone don't believe me. This ring definitely brought something with it. I couldn't believe it when the light turned off on its own. It has never happened in the 8 years I've been living in this house.
Well, wait till the real shit stuff starts happening. Go and watch The Omen with that ring on.
Yeah, exactly, dude. But do you know what? Otter Love 13 says, not smart, dude. Right. Yeah, another Reddit user. Honestly, it's a little bit like the Damanhurians, you know, Otter Love.
Otter love seed. Well, because it's got to be a plant.
Yes, that's true. Yes. So Otter Love says, not smart, dude. Your life, and apparently your mum's life too, are going to go to hell in a handbasket quick like, and you don't want to take that ring off? You keep that ring and pretty soon you won't be yourself anymore. You're playing a dangerous game. You may laugh, but I'll pray for you. You're going to need it.
Oh, God. Wow, people getting excited over a ring. It might not even be a true story. I think sometimes I do think people who write things on Quora and Reddit are making it up.
How dare you? It's all true, Geordie. So Silver Tadpole comes back and says, I had something very strange happen. I just woke up a little, L-A-L, a little while ago to get ready for work. And I had some crazy lucid dream, which I've never, ever had before. And I heard this voice talk to me. And I asked it, what is your name? And it gave me the same name that was written on the paper. The demon gave me his name. I wanted to wake up, but then sleep paralysis took over. And I heard this voice very clearly telling me it was now going to be with me. I finally was able to wake up. It was scary, and I'm still kind of surprised. It communicated with me through dreams, and it told me his name and that he was here. This is getting out of control real quick.
But I'm not taking the ring off.
Well, that's the thing. This Otter Love says, better find yourself a good demonologist. And Silver Tadpole says, I have to look for one here in LA. Now, sadly, there's no follow-ups to this post.
Oh, God knows what happened.
So I don't know if Silver Tadpole is still possessed.
He's now in prison, yeah.
Would you even entertain the idea of buying
a
haunted ring, let alone
God, no.
If someone said this has got a little demon attached to it, here you go, just pop that on your ring finger. I just wouldn't do it.
No, even if I didn't believe in it, I just wouldn't go there. I wouldn't.
Then do you know what? I have no problem wearing vintage jewellery.
No, same.
Which may or may not have come from deceased estate. But I mean, that's different to saying there's a demon attached to a piece of jewellery. Good luck, Silver Tadpole. I hope you're not possessed.
So do I.
Yeah.
Best wishes, Eavesdroppin.
Best wishes. Greetings of the day, Eavesdroppin. Then I found this article from a website. Fuck knows what this website is, but it was called adlister.co.uk. And they compiled a list of the most haunted items ever sold on eBay. And I'm not going to do them all, but I'm going to do a few, starting with number 10.
Yeah.
It's a painting called The Anguished Man.
Oh, God.
Now, I saw this painting and it looks totally like a B grade, The Scream, from Edvard Munch. And, I mean, you know, it kind of looks scary, I guess. According to an article on Mental Floss, this painting, The Anguished Man, was at one point sold on eBay for 1,500 quid. Not cheap.
Wow.
That's not a cheap fucking painting. I mean, you can buy an actual painting from a real artist for that.
Yeah.
The catch with this is you can own it, but you cannot have this painting in your house. So what is the fucking point of having this painting?
Because it's haunted and you want the thrill of having a haunted painting in your attic, like...
No, you're not allowed to have it in your house.
Oh, you can't have it in your house?
No,
Where do
you
put it?
can't.
Oh, you just own the rights to it?
You own the rights to this painting. It stays
How
with the
bizarre.
original owner. And the owner is a guy called Sean Robinson. And he says, when he spoke to a website called Dread Central, that the Anguished Man painting is locked away in a secure place and it is not for sale. Quote, "The Anguished Man painting was given to me by my grandmother. The artist of the painting is unknown, but we do know that the artist mixed his own blood into the paint and committed suicide not long after the painting was finished." We hear this a lot, like serial killers and cannibals, they all use their blood in, mixing these things. So Sean then goes on to say, all other paintings appearing for sale online, which claim to be the Anguished Man, are frauds. No one should buy those.
Oh.
Yes. I can guarantee you that the original haunted painting is locked away in a secure location and I have no intention of selling it. That could be dangerous. And it would not be wise for anyone to lay their hands on the painting because it really is active and really strange things happen for people who are in the same room or even in the same house with the painting. It is scary. Apparently, people who at some point say they've owned the Anguished Man painting reckon that they have experienced supernatural shit going on in their house when they've had the painting in the house. Although we've just heard that you're not allowed to have the painting in your house.
Yeah.
We've heard that the painting doesn't really exist. So I don't know what's fact and
What the
fiction
hell?
here.
Oh, my God, you've confused me.
We're confused everyone. I think they're confused too. They say that when they've had this Anguished Man in their house, they hear the sound of footsteps coming from nowhere, the sound of birdsong, which actually is quite nice, coming from nowhere, and doors opening and closing by themselves, which all to me sounds like kind of poltergeist activity. But who am I? So that's the Anguished Man.
Okay. It reminds me, the whole time I'm thinking about the picture of Dorian Gray, the black and white film version, and when you finally get to see the painting in the attic.
Oh.
And it's all haggard and old and his eyes are popping out and it looks horrible.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I've never seen that. I mean, I know the picture of Dorian Gray, but I've never seen what the film version is. Sounds awful. I then skip along to number 9 on this list of most haunted items. Geordie, it's a bra. It's a haunted bra.
Of course, it's haunted underwear.
It's a dirty bra for those dirty haunted
pillows. Oh.
What's more, it's white, but kind of not because it is dirty.
It was.
It's used.
Yeah.
It's a used bra. It's white. It's strapless. It's my size. It's a 32A.
Wow. You want everyone to know that, Michelle?
I don't care. Anyone can see. If you've seen me on the bloody Eavesdroppin Instagram where I'm always in a bikini, you can see I've got a 32A. I've got nothing to hide, literally. This one, it's 32A padded to give the impression of more.
Oh.
It looks a little bit broderie anglaise. And like I said, pre-loved. It's been worn.
Must be filthy. It sounds like it comes from Primark.
I mean, look, it does look a bit cheapy. But its owner, Tonya Rose, says it's not a second-hand bra. It's a third-hand bra, Geordie.
Ew.
Because this bra belonged to a dead woman who loved the boys and she loved to party. And before her life was gone too soon, her spirit was not ready. And it's hanging around in that bra. And she says anyone who wears this dirty white bra is going to channel this poor dead lady's spirit and her success with the boys. So, i.e., wear this bra.
So you get
and
lucky.
Yeah, you're going to get a shit ton of dudes interested in you.
Oh.
So, yeah.
How did she die?
I don't know. I didn't contact Tonya Rose. Maybe I should.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. But there's more, Geordie. If you place this bra in front of a lit white candle, the spirit of the woman, the dead woman, will appear. So you could maybe ask her, how she died. And do you know what? Maybe Safka has something to say about this because she is our resident white witch. So Safka, tell me what you think about this haunted bra. Could it be real? And are you prepared to spend $25 to find out?
Only 25.
I do believe it sold for $25 US. But if you place this bra in front of a red candle, the same woman, the dead woman, will grant you, the new owner of the bra, an erotic encounter with the spirit world, i.e., sex with a ghost.
Sex with a ghost.
Sign me up. Not really.
Would you like that?
I don't think I would. No, thank you. I mean, well, look, you wouldn't have to do anything, really, would you?
Well, I just think it would be a bit creepy.
Yes, it would be a bit creepy, but I mean, look, there are some people who give anything a go, Geordie, so you never know.
True.
Tell me what you think, Safka. What would you do? Well, which candle would you put this bra in front of?
Red or the white, Safka?
Let us know. So at number 5, that was for sale on eBay, was a haunted Ziploc bag.
What? Oh, come on.
Yeah, I know.
People are really reaching. They want some cash.
They do. And it sold. This one, $25 US. It was a packet, actually.
A whole roll of haunted
A whole roll of
Ziplocs.
Ziploc. Yeah, haunted Ziplocs. So according to the seller, Rusty Raccoon on eBay, they did come in a normal size pack of Ziploc bags. And the listing reckons that these Ziploc bags have magical powers where you can reverse time.
Ah, that's interesting.
Well, kind of, but not really, because it says,
Bullshit.
just get your leftovers or snack foods and pop them in size. And not only will the bag keep them fresh indefinitely,
What?
but it will turn back time, i.e.
To the time when you first ate it?
No, if you put stale or off food in one of these bags and then take it out again, voila, it's fresh.
What happens if you put the bag over your head?
I don't know.
Save a ton of money on aesthetics?
Well, you are not the first person to say that because the magical powers of these Ziploc bags do not end just with food. He does say, Rusty Raccoon says you can heal people with these bags. You don't put it over your head because that might kill you, but you get a lock of someone's hair if they're unwell and you put it inside and they get healed through the power of another dimension, all for $25 US.
Okay.
Now, do you know what, Geordie? I do think that people who are willing to pay anything or try anything to heal a loved one might just think, fuck it. Maybe Rusty Raccoon really has stepped back in time or stepped forward in time, found, these magic Ziploc bags, and I'll give it a go.
Yeah.
So Rusty Raccoon is making dollar off this.
He's making dollar.
Yeah.
We have a get well soon spell for free from our resident white witch.
Aha. Really?
You may remember there was an email from Safka back in the early days when she first started to write in. She wrote about her little pussycat Phaedra not being very well.
Yes.
And she did a spell and she detailed what the spell involved. And I believe we still have it in our emails, Michelle.
Yes, we do. Maybe I should go back and do one for Jen.
I think you should give it a go.
Or even better still, Safka, if you've got a moment, maybe you can do a get well soon for Jen because she's not doing so great.
Yeah. There is a brown candle involved and I think maybe a little bit of hair. Not sure.
Okay.
And an incantation.
All right, I'm going to look that up. And do you know what? If
Give
I
it a
can
bash.
find it, Safka, let me know for the next episode whether or not I can post that spell on the Patreon.
Oh, a free spell. But then Safka might want £25 for that. $25, sorry.
She might. That's why get in touch, Safka. Let me know. Let me know how you feel about it.
We can put you in the merchandise shop along with the underpants.
Exactly, because, Ricky Raccoon or whatever his name was, Rusty Raccoon, he's making bank off that.
Yeah.
But anyway, number 2 are the Dybbuk boxes. I don't know if I'm saying it right. I didn't know what it was, so I Googled it.
Are they pants?
No, a box. No, they are actual boxes. Apparently, it's a paranormal antique wine cabinet. It's very popular in Judaism. Apparently in 2003, a writer called Kevin Mannis sold one of these on eBay, and he wrote in the listing that it had been owned by a Holocaust survivor and that ever since he bought it, he had been haunted. And you know what? He popped that shit on eBay. Someone else bought it. Even though he said, I was haunted by it. He sold it. Huh. And then I think it just got sold on, and so on, just kept getting sold. And apparently a lot of people say when they owned this Dibok or Dibok box, weird, terrifying paranormal shit happened to them. This was one particular one, but I think there's more than one haunted Dibok box because there's quite a few of them on eBay. Mm. The idea of this box is that they contain sealed spirits that when this box is opened, terrorize the people in the house until that box is sealed up again.
That sounds like Pandora's box.
Yes, but you can't just go, oh, fuck, I've just opened this wine box. I've just shut it again. No, you have to have a religious Judaism
chase them down.
Ritual to close it. So why the fuck would you want that? Why would you buy that?
No,
it sounds awful to me. But people do, Geordie, and they literally are paying the price.
Yeah.
Going back to what you said at the top of this story about the number one haunted object on eBay, dolls. So many fucking haunted dolls. Apparently, it all started with Annabelle, the supposedly haunted doll kept
we spoke
by
about
the
that
Warrens.
Recently.
Yes, we did indeed. Now, obviously, she kind of kicked off this whole haunted doll fad on eBay. But you can also get things like haunted Star Wars stormtroopers that make people hallucinate house fires.
What?
Oh my goodness, the chips!
Oh my goodness! Yeah, bride and groom dolls whose faces glow apparently with a supernatural red colour. Old-fashioned clown dolls that move around on their own at night.
No, that's just fucking frightening. I had serious nightmares about that when I was a kid. I had a dream about one of those little doll clowns and it came and sprinkled sand in my belly button.
Oh my God.
And I had to go out and run out and I used to scream every night. Yeah, I used to have this dream about it sprinkling sand in my belly button.
Oh my God, that's horrible. That's really traumatizing.
Yes, it is. So much so that when you used to see, and I've said this before on this podcast, when I used to see those little 10-cent slot machines where you put 10 cents in the machine and you could operate the puppet clown in the street. When I noticed one of those on a street, I made my entire family cross the road so I didn't have to look at it.
Okay, that is trauma. Childhood trauma right there. Mm-hmm. You might need to dig deep, find out what that's really all about. Although really it could just be that everyone knows that clowns are creepy.
Yeah.
Well, I decided to find my own haunted doll listing. So I went on eBay just now. I found a listing that said, haunted doll, authentic spirit vessel, starting price $240 Australian dollars and 95 cents, free postage.
It's an Aussie doll.
It's an Aussie doll. So here's the item description from the seller. It starts off, it says, please meet Jane. This pretty vessel, i.e. it's a porcelain face doll.
Porcelain, right.
With orange curly hair and,
Oh, God. I think my mum's got that. I think I used that in one of the socials once.
It's very similar.
She's got a little jaunty hat and a big crinoline frock.
No, she doesn't have. I think the one you posted had like tartan dress. This one is just a relatively normal porcelain doll. But this pretty vessel, i.e. the doll, belongs to Jane, an outgoing 22-year-old young woman. I originally adopted Jane from Haunted Honeys, and she has been with me.
What?
Yeah, I don't know what that is. The seller, Miller's Memories, is the seller here. So you can go and look this up unless somebody's already bought Jane.
Okay. I'm sure there's plenty more Janes where that came from, though. I have a feeling.
They just need to go to Haunted Honeys. I'm sure they'll find some more haunted dollies.
They'll get a doll. They'll fill it with a spirit.
Yes, that's right. Miller's Memories say... Yeah, Jane's an outgoing 22-year-old young woman. I originally adopted Jane from Haunted Honeys and she's been with me for a few years. Jane was born in America and was a sporty girl. She enjoyed most things young women do. Music, dancing, going to clubs, makeup and manicures, having her hair done. Jane liked to go to the cinema or watch movies on television. Still does. Her faves are horror, romance and comedy. Interestingly, when Jane was alive, she was a spirit guardian herself and very interested in the paranormal.
So how did she die?
I'll tell you. It says here, Jane loved her life and her long-term boyfriend. She believed he was the one. Sadly, it was while on holiday together with that boyfriend, she tragically passed away in a skiing accident.
Oh, right, okay.
Oh, my God. Can I tell you... It's very hard to die from a skiing accident.
What kind of skiing, though? I just imagined it was water skiing.
Oh, I just thought normal skiing. And I thought, gosh, avalanche, crevasse, or like Sonny Bono smacked into a tree. Miller's Memory says, Jane's energy is beautiful, but she can also come across as a little moody if she's needing attention.
Oh, dear.
This sweetheart wants and needs a guardian around her age, i.e. 22. So, if you're into music, girly things, and a little partying, then Jane would fit in perfectly. She would also love for you to take her on outings now and then.
God.
Jane's vessel is not large, and she could easily fit in a generous handbag or backpack.
Oh, my God.
Some of Jane's preferred offerings include wine, red or white, bourbon.
She's not fussy. Oh, God.
Bourbon, and the pre-mixed vodka drinks that taste sweet. She also likes chocolate, fruit, and flowers. If you would like to buy her a gift, she loves jewellery, crystals, perfume, and books, and her favourite colour is purple. Jane is confident with communication tools of your choice.
Wow.
Things to consider. Spirit is not, in capitals, a toy for your gimmicks or entertainment and will not perform on command. Please treat them with love and respect as you would a family member. Allow the spirit time to adjust to their new home without expectation. And remember, spirit was once human and personalities are diverse. Some will be more outgoing than others. Welcome them with an offering and light a candle. Talk to them as you would your family and involve them in your daily activities if you wish. The more time spent with spirit, the stronger your bond will become. If you can open your heart without expectation, you will have the most beautiful experience. You must be aged 18 plus to adopt. Please feel free to contact me if you have any questions. Miller's Memories. Jane's vessel is 32 centimetres tall and in lovely condition. Stand is included.
Right.
And then she says, I'm required legally by eBay to state you are purchasing a tangible item, a doll, for entertainment purposes only. While all information gained from the source is accurate, I cannot be held responsible for any encounters you may or may not have.
Fuck's sake. So if we see a 22-year-old girl walking around town with a doll in her arms, then we know.
Or out of
or
her,
popping out of
her
her
bag,
backpack.
like a doll, like
Yeah.
a dog. You know how people have like...
Yeah. Why have you got that doll with you? Oh, because it's Jane. She likes outings.
Yes, I'm just off to buy some bourbon. So, you know, I just...
Bourbon and a string of pearls.
I mean, I'm sure she'd probably have a pack of fags too. But do you know what? I don't know what to think about this because $240 is not cheap.
It's insane. It's insane. Sorry. I think somebody's just paying $240 for a great story and a little dolly.
I did take a couple of screenshots of Jane, which will
Yeah.
appear on the Patreon.
Great.
At that point, there were 12 watchers interested.
Wow. Keep an eye on that. See who wins. And then maybe contact them in post and find out, have you experienced anything since you've received Jane?
Yes, that's a very good...
Is it legit?
Is Jane legit?
Or did you just lose $250 on a doll with a stand?
With a stand. Well, just have Jane next to the bed or whatever. I don't know. So there you go. Haunted eBay. It's a thing.
Thanks, Michelle. That's quite enlightening. It's also given me some ideas for how to make money in the future. So thank you.
That's okay. I mean, you could basically say anything. Haunted cushion.
Yeah.
Haunted teacup.
Yeah. Haunted this, haunted
Any
that.
old shit you're going to throw
Exactly.
to the charity store.
Haunted pens. Yep,
Blog it
they're
on
all
eBay.
haunted.
Make some cash.
Well, it's that easy, Michelle, if only.
What if we're wrong? What if they really are haunted and we're going to get...
Well, exactly. And then we get a black mark across our necks because we're being disrespectful
I know.
here.
Sorry.
How dare we?
Open mind, open heart.
Unbelievable.
Yes.
Exactly. Let's keep those eyes and ears and arms and...
Wallets.
What did you say? Hearts open.
Wallets open. Yep.
Wallets open. For this week, we will bid farewell to our lovely listeners, and we hope that you enjoyed hearing all about the haunted things and all about the Ghostbuster gone wrong.
Yes.
And until next week,
Wherever you are,
whatever you do,
just
keep
keep
eavesdropping.
Eavesdropping, eavesdropping, dropping, eavesdropping, dropping, eavesdropping, eavesdropping,
dropping, dropping.